I'm David Maldo, and in this lesson, we're going to discuss how to manage your audio during your virtual presentations. Now, we have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is OBS audio settings aren't simple. There is no beginner version, and it's not OBS's fault. Audio in general is kind of complicated, and software audio, computer audio, is particularly tricky. Even people who are good at it can get kind of mixed up in the settings. The good news is, for the most part, we're not going to be using it. We're using OBS to replace the video in our video meeting software, but we're just going to use the same audio that we've been using before. So I'm assuming that most of you, before taking this course, have been making video calls over Zoom or Microsoft Teams or some other software. And at some point, you probably set up your headset or microphone or speakers to work with that software. Just leave those settings how they are. Don't change it. Whatever headset, microphone, whatever you've been using for your video meetings, just keep using it that way. Everything we've learned in the course so far has really just been about replacing the video. That being said, as long as we're here, let me give you one or two quick advanced tips on audio. Let's continue where we left off in the last lesson. Okay, so at this point in the course, we've become comfortable with our preview window. We've learned that in the control panel, the only thing we really need to worry about is starting our virtual camera, which sends our preview window image to our video conferencing software. We've had some fun with our transitions. We're very good with cut and fade, and we've played with some of the advanced transitions. We've learned about the different types of sources and how to manipulate them on the screen and how to manage them in our different scenes. But there's just one dock left, one panel left we haven't looked at, and that's our audio panel. Now, for some of you, like me, OBS might have tried to auto-configure itself with your microphone. You might see activity in the meter when you're speaking like this. Now, since we're not using it, you might want to click the mute button here, just so that way nothing is happening in the monitor. It's a little less distracting. Remember, ideally, we're not using this at all. We're just using our video conferencing software. So that brings up the first trick, which is how do I get other sounds into my video conferencing software? What if I want to play a video that has music or sound behind it? How do I get that into my video meeting? And the answer is it depends on the video conferencing software. Some video conferencing software, like Zoom, allows you to just share your desktop audio. Let's take a look at how that works. So let's move this over a little bit to make room for our Zoom window. And let's start our Zoom meeting. And I see I'm not sharing my video image in Zoom. Well, we've learned from previous lessons how to send our preview window feed over to the Zoom. We have to click Start Virtual Camera. There it is. Now Zoom is set up to use my microphone normally, so I'm all set. But what if I was playing a video that I wanted to share and I wanted to hear the audio through Zoom? So now we've said we're not using our Zoom screen share button anymore. If we want to share something, we're going to set it up in OBS as a source and share it behind us. But there is a trick. If you go to screen share in Zoom, when you click the screen share button and the window pops up, instead of sharing screen as we used to do in Zoom, click the Advanced tab at the top, and then you'll see one of the options is Music or Computer Sound. Click that, and then click Share. Now what's happening is you're sharing your computer sound. Your microphone is still working in Zoom, but if I was to go to YouTube and start playing a video, anything that I can hear through my speakers will be sent through Zoom. So how do we use this as a virtual presenter? Well, there's plenty of ways, but one example would just be sharing a video. Let's do that now. For this next part, we're going to use a few techniques learned earlier in the course. I'm not going to explain them again. We might need to go back and review. Now remember, I have two monitors. What you're seeing now is what's on one of my monitors. I have OBS on one side, and I have Zoom on the other side. On my other monitor, I have Windows Movie Player with the video queued up. So how do we share that in OBS? Well, we remember, everything in OBS is a source. So let's go to our sources, and we'll add. We know how to add a monitor, a display capture, and we'll create a new one. And we'll select our second monitor. There we go. That's what's on my right screen. Let's resize it as we learned to do. And actually, let's use what we've learned about layering. Let's drop it down to put it behind me. There we go. So now if I play this video just normally as I would play any video that I would watch on my Windows desktop, I'm hearing the audio, and since I'm sharing my computer sound in Zoom, the people in my Zoom meeting with me are also hearing the audio. You'll notice we're not using OBS audio at all for this. None of these monitors are moving, no OBS audio. We're simply playing something on our desktop, sharing the video through OBS, and sharing the audio through Zoom or whatever our choice of video software is. So fortunately, that's pretty much all we need to know about audio when doing our virtual presentations. Let's move on to our next lesson.